I really couldn't ask for a better situation. It's the right amount of fucking off with the right amount of like serious work. It's a balance. Not only just being in the shop is cool because you're surrounded by all this stuff. It's like you can't be in here without wanting to draw tattoos.
At this shop? Yeah. It's really laid back and easy. Everybody's an adult. There's no bullshit. Everyone's responsible for themselves, and that's it.
It's terrible. I gotta work with all these assholes all the time, you know? It's awesome. It's very mellow. Everybody just does their own thing because everybody here is responsible. So it's, we just, you know, everybody's working, everybody's putting in, everybody's doing their thing. And then, like, you know, if you want to fucking take off, who cares? Go take off. You know what I mean? So that works as long as everybody's a responsible person, you know?
You know, it's more so just lucky to see the things that I got to see every day working in this shop, you know, coming out of this shop and the way that these guys would draw what they did or what they were using for reference and you know, that kind of thing. A lot of tattooers came through here to get tattooed by these guys as well. So, you know, you got to just hear so many cool stories and see so many things, and I just constantly make like mental notes or text stuff to myself, you know, to look up later on so that I didn't have to like ask at the time.
My name is Mike Rennie, tattoo for a living, and I live in Richmond, Virginia. It's kind of growing up around it, you know. Punk rock, skateboarding, everybody had them, always attracted to it, you know what I mean? It was just tough looking. It was cool, it was wild, you know what I mean? It was bad. I liked all things like that. So, you know, I just knew it's something I always wanted to do. I don't know, it's a weird thing that it was there, it was constantly around it. And I just knew it early, just what I was gonna do. That's all it was. I grew up seeing that 90s era of tattooing, kind of where it left so much biker and went more bigger, larger, you know, custom stuff, and it was cool to see. And I mean, it was just awesome to see large-scale images of skulls and eagles and stuff like that just were super powerful.
It was like biker world at that time, so like it was more of like the total package that was awesome, you know, like these dudes do whatever the fuck they want. You know, I came from like punk rock and stuff, so I'm like, it's got the same vibe going on, it's the same environment, but they're like making a living doing it, you know what I mean? And then the art was cool, but I didn't really like understand most of it at that time. Like it was just like, oh, that skull looks cool, you know, or whatever, but as you get deeper in it, it's like evolved over time, you know? My curious nature, asking the types of questions that I would be sometimes, just to want to know why something was done a certain way or looked a certain way. You know, I guess all of that just kind of hit, and at some point I think also I was really good at the front counter. So I think in a sense what they really thought was, well, if we teach him how to tattoo, we get a counter guy for a few more years, we don't have to train someone, you know?
I have photo albums of like my very first tattoos when I lived in Oregon, and looking back, it's like 1 out of 10 is not that bad, but the rest of them are horrendous. There's specific tattoos that I've seen that are like photos that I know it's two friends that came in together, and one will be fine and one's just horrible. But yeah, it was like Volkswagen logos. Man, when I lived in Oregon, it was tons of cow skulls, dolphins, which is funny because I lived in the desert, but all the ranchers, well, I've got cow skulls and dolphins, yin yangs. I mean, this is in 1996 too. Dream catchers were real big too. Anything with a feather in it, it was good.
With VCU coming in, it obviously changes some things, makes it nicer, but this street's got a lot of history. Twisters being next door, I mean, I spent countless nights there, shows, you know what I mean? That shaped a lot of things. I mean, it shaped tattooing for me, coming up here, seeing Timothy Hoyer tattoos, Chris O'Donnell tattoos, you know what I mean? Dude from Vision Disorders crushed in awesome tattoos, like weird shit like that. So it was all kind of like interplayed together. It just the street is just a good street for that. You know what I mean? It has a lot of history as far as tattooing for me, and just punk rock shows, things like that. You know what I mean? I could come up here and meet friends. People were hanging out on the front steps. You know, it was perfect. It's a great spot.
Yeah, it's changed quite a bit. It's also lost a lot of character. You know what I mean? So it's beneficial on some levels and terrible on some others. You know. Yeah, I saw a dude get murdered about 2 blocks down. I watched it happen, you know, so it's like, that's cool that shit's not happening as much anymore, you know, but at the same time, I think there will be a day where this shop is not here anymore, you know? So I feel like we're in a weird time frame where it's like the difference between the haves and the have-nots is just separating so much more and so much faster. And that's kind of where we are. You know, like this used to be a block where it's very mixed of all kinds of people and whatever, and it's predominantly college kids now, you know what I mean? And like people, you know, going to, there's a bunch of restaurants and all that's awesome, and so you get a lot of nightlife and shit like that, but the days of walking out of here and it's fucking like super sketchy, you know, are gone, you know? So, kind of miss that a little bit, you know what I mean? I don't want anybody to be hurt, you know, but it's like at the same time you're like, well, you know, maybe if you talk shit you should get hurt. Like it's just kind of how the world works, you know what I mean? So, and
seeing Avail shows at Twisters and just being like, man, this is like the craziest thing ever, and like I can never tell my parents about this, you know? They think I'm at Nick's house right now. But yeah, I mean, you know what? So it was 12 years ago almost now that I started working here. So it was not quite as college on Grace Street. You know, the strip club was still 2 doors down, and you know, like I said, I don't know if it was still Twisters then or not, or if it was the next you know, incarnation before the bagel place. But yeah, I mean, it would, you know, it'd be nothing to just on the sidewalk the next morning, you know, you're coming into work and you're like, oh, something crazy happened here because sidewalks aren't supposed to be this color, you know?
There used to be a head shop around the corner. It was more like, man, I don't even know what it really sold, because it wasn't like African goods and it wasn't a head shop, but it had stuff like that. It was like you could buy incense and you could buy, I don't know. Man, it was real weird. But I walked in and HR from Bad Brains was sitting behind the counter, rolling a blunt that was about that big. And it was just like, wow, that's HR. Wow, that's a huge blunt. Across the street used to be the Lee X Theater. Do you remember the Lee X? Was it still open then?
I was here. I came here after it. It was,
okay.
It was a DC building.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was the Triple X movie theater, and they had like a carousel that had hot dogs on it. Like, who goes to see a Triple X movie and gets a hot dog while they're there? I knew an old lady that lived up the street that swore by their popcorn. She would walk down there, get popcorn from there, and then take it home.
Later on in life, you kind of realize there needs to be a balance and things like that. And it's hard, you know. It's hard not to go home and work out what you've been thinking out all day instead of sitting down and hanging out with my wife for a second and just, you know, bullshitting. You know what I mean? I have to physically tell myself, you can't go from here to my office. It's weird.
You know, it can be, you know, people are like, oh man, 6 hours, you don't have to be to work till 1, and you know, it's whatever, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, but it doesn't really relate to, you know, someone that works Monday through Friday 9 to 5. So especially, you know, on like a relationship type level, or, you know, I work Saturdays and Sundays. You know, I can take off if I need to, but you know, you have to like also take into, you know, account that those are, especially starting out, when you don't have people coming to you to get tattoos, Saturdays and Sundays are your money days. You know, that's when those are the days you're paying your bills, because the weeks, you know, would tend to be a little slower.
In the 90s, when it was super busy and you got off work whenever the tattoos were done, and it was 3:30 in the morning after tattooing since noon, it kind of sucked. Yeah. Or in the early days too, like, you know, I'm working 9 hours a day tattooing, but I get home and I would draw for another 2 or 3 hours. I'd wake up in the morning and draw. So it was almost 24 hours minus sleeping of living tattooing. Girlfriends hated it. I had zero other life. Drove me insane. But yeah, it's cool.
you want to be good at anything, it's going to take sacrifice. So, and it's like now, obviously now it'd be a little different. I have children, my wife, and stuff like that. We, you know, but in the early years, there was no compromise. Like, not going to happen. Like, everyone wants to be famous, and it's like, fuck all that. You want to be good at it, you fucking got to work for it, you know? So.
Virginia was the ultimate goal. And growing up, this shop to me was the shop. Just the energy, the people that worked here, the people that's been through here. I mean, it's a historic place, you know what I mean? Like the front steps of this place or something. I mean, I got a piece of the front steps that I saved, you know what I mean? It's got so much power here.
Sharing the stories is tough sometimes because you gotta remember not to name names. Oh man, but yeah, Dave and I went to Japan. Man, it's probably close to 10 years ago now, and one of the guys that worked here wanted me to bring him some dirt back from Japan. And of course, I'm not going to try and travel back through customs with dirt from Japan and have to explain that. So we get home, and soil. He was pretty interested in what Japanese dirt or soil looked like. Yeah. So the day I get back, you know, we go out front and just put some dirt in a Ziploc bag and hand it to him. And try to hand it to him, and he freaks out. He it wants nothing to do with this dirt. He thinks it's like, you know, who knows what's in this dirt that came from Japan. And I think the bag used to be hanging. We hung it on a nail in the back. I don't know if it's still there, but it's pretty funny that he was pretty freaked out about some dirt from Japan. And actually, he may find out from this video that I don't think he knows that the dirt, I think he still thinks the dirt's from Japan. Yeah, that was a good one, though.